When I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Get my hat up.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Morris?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Done.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself.
The doctor lived next door to the janitor to the reverend and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
Letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
All right. First day of the new week, February the 12th. Happy birthday to my best friend up in heaven. Happy birthday, Marty. God rest your soul. Gracious Lord, make us truly thankful for another week that we have to do thy will. May you be pleased with the work we have planned for this week, and may we touch people and lift up lives and encourage people and bring some positive stories to light, especially in a dying world. And we promise, Lord, to give you all the praise and all the glory in your mighty, matchless, and majestic name. Amen. We like to start the week off with prayer. We figure if we start with prayer and then with prayer, you can't go wrong. All right. So today's guest is Mr. Harold Diggs. He's a visionary entrepreneur and the driving force behind the Cottda Foundation. So let's find out what it's all about. Harold Diggs, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing today, sir? How's everything?
Doing good. Where you from, Harold?
Baltimore, man. Born and raised, Baltimore all day.
Oh, yeah? What part of town?
Oh, man, I grew up over in Ednor Gardens, over there, not that far from 33rd and Greenmount, man.
It's a nice neighborhood.
I've been over in Emerson Village now for the last 25 years.
25 years. And that's where you do a lot of your community work?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
With the community work, man, I mean, some of the big things we do is with Cottda. Cottda stands for like community outreach team. You know, we teach the community, we develop the community, and we show the community how to achieve, man. I mean, we really try to come in there and teach them about like financial literacy. We try to come in and we teach them about different like civic works and really how they can really engage into the community and start to impact one another. But it's really just about empowering the community, man, and showing them their strength. And we do it through young successful leaders also.
And how did you get involved with this?
Well, I got involved with Cottda One and Young Successful Leaders at an early age. I mean, when I was young, I remember when I was going to school at Coppin one day and I was on the bus. And as I was on the bus, I was just looking at all of these kids on the street and all of these women on the street. And then I looked at people selling drugs and I was like, man, there's got to be a change to this, you know. But then later on that evening, when I came home, I worked all day, came home. And when I came home, I'm always the one to see the kids on the street. And again, I'm only like 22 at the time. And I see the kids on the streets all the time. And I seen the young lady and I was like, come on, let's go home. She was like, no, just give me some time. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm tired. I'll see you in the AM. She said, all right. And the next morning, man, she was found dead, you know. And to me, that impacted me at a 22-year-old because I was just like, wow, I was tired and I ain't want to walk somebody home, and I just let it go when I should have just been like, you know what, come with me. But ever since then, I kind of really changed everything I did, and I started, trying to go hard in the community and go hard with our youth, with like young successful leaders, and go hard with the Cottda, man.
So you founded both of these organizations, Young Successful Leaders and Cottda?
Yeah, so Cottda Foundation was started in 2005, but around 2017, I met a young man by the name of Brandon Clayton, and me and him started working together, and I mentored him for about 5 years. But then after that, we decided to change the name from Cottda Foundation to Young Successful Leaders, and then we just made Cottda stand by itself. So now it's called Cottda One.
And what is the purpose of it?
The purpose of Young Successful Leaders is, our mission is, like, right now our vision is for like 1,000 youth and creating micro entrepreneurs. So we want to create 1,000 micro entrepreneurs by the year 2030. And then our number one goal is just to, we want to be known as the premier youth organization here in Baltimore City when it comes to developing the youth in entrepreneurship, financial literacy, leadership, and of course, with community engagement.
So what have you done thus far?
I mean, this far, man, we've actually had about 15 successful cohorts. Normally, we got about 30 to 40 kids in the cohort. Normally, you can check them out on, like, when we're on YouTube, you can see the kids. They're always answering questions. We've also had about 3 big youth conferences, and at the youth conferences, we've had about over 100 to 200 kids at the youth conference. We try to do those once a quarter. So our main goal is impacting the youth and getting them ready for either, we got something called the Power of 17, 18. So when they get out of school, they're already ready. They're already registered to vote. And when they turn 18, they can go right in and start voting. And that's the key thing. These kids coming out of school right now that we just got registered to vote, they're going to be able to impact the election like right away as we start rolling.
You think politics helps our community?
I think politics can help out the community when it actually has the right person leading the charge, or at least teaching the correct information.
So, not to be too
Sorry.
how old are you, Harold?
I just turned 50.
And what have you seen politics do positively for your community?
I mean, I've seen different people do different things. But for me, I'm always going to have that extra push, man. So for me, I look at how, for instance, the West Side communities are from Edmondson Village all the way down to the West Side Shopping Center. And when you look at it, I was just over by West Side Shopping Center, and I walked like about 4 blocks, and I counted about 500 vacant homes. And like one community. So like that's something that we have to change. And if our leaders or our elected officials see this going on, I mean, they got to be able to make a change to this, man. And the same up in Edmondson Village. When we look at Edmondson Village, that's one of the most historic places around. It's just about getting all of the previous politicians sorry about that, all of the previous politicians that have actually been doing things in our city, getting them to really start to see the right way to impact, man. That's just the truth.
So I know you're trying to be politically correct, but I'm gonna ask you one more time. What politicians have demonstrated leadership in your 50 years? Now, you just talked about Edmondson Village all the way down to the bottom.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to ask you one more time. What politicians have positively impacted Edmondson Village community?
I mean, the only politicians that I can really, if we going to talk political and we talking politics.
And let me tell you why. You want our young people to vote.
Absolutely, man.
I'm a person that's a little tired. I've seen these people run, and I see 50,000, 16,000, or however many vacant houses. I see neighborhoods like Hamden, like Hollandtown, and they have no vacant houses. Now, I'm not saying not at all, but they got blocks. I was over in Hamden, and it was just blocks and blocks. And I was like, damn, I remember West Baltimore looked like this. People in every house.
Absolutely, man.
So I'm going to ask you one more time. What politicians have made a positive difference in your community, in your lifetime?
In my lifetime, when it comes to just seeing the changes over here, man, in Evanston Village, I mean, I can't say nobody really has impacted the community and made that big of a change. I see somebody like a young guy, like, but he getting ready to leave, like Christopher Bernard. I see him doing things, but I think sometimes
But he leaving.
Yeah, he leaving. You know what I'm saying? So
why is he leaving?
Oh, I don't know. I know he, we waiting for somebody else to step up and take over this area.
So Earl,
yeah,
I'm seeing some insanity.
Yeah,
like you want our young people to vote, but
absolutely.
you ain't never seen voting work.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what? And that's one of the great hopes, man. The hope that once
I ain't got time to hope. I'm 58. I need to see it now.
And you're right.
When I look at the Inner Harbor, I remember Stephanie Rawlins Blake, Heifer Mitchell, Bill Cole. They came up with this Grand Prix. You remember the Grand Prix?
Yeah, I remember it.
They took money from the recreation centers and put it downtown on this Grand Prix that went about 2-3 years, and then it disappeared.
That's right. That's right.
Meanwhile, Easterwood Rec closed, John Eager Howard Rec closed, Lee and Jones Rec closed.
That's right. They all closed.
And they say, well, you got a new rec up K Hill, but a kid from North Avenue ain't going up K Hill because he got to go through too many different neighborhoods to get there.
Yep.
So I'm trying to see, what are we voting for? And why do we keep voting when our neighborhoods look the same? Matter of fact, our neighborhoods look worse.
Well, I would say I would have to agree with you that our neighborhood look worse because they got worse because nobody's actually really been putting the type of blood, sweat, and tears into it that needs to make it grow. I mean, the impact the community, man, we got to be able to have people who not afraid that, okay, if I push and I put out my legislation and I put out these different things, I might not even get elected in 2 years. That's okay. You know what? So you need to go hard and make your impact. And hopefully the people see what you're doing and the people say, you know what? Boom, this is the one I want to vote for because he the one who out here making a change. Or she.
One of the most creative leaders I've seen in your is David Smallwood.
Mr. Smallwood's an icon, man. And Mr. Smallwood, when it comes to the things that he do, that Mr. Smallwood pushes so hard. And the funny thing about Mr. Smallwood is it's kind of what you started talking about earlier. Mr. Smallwood tell the truth. Now, when you tell the truth about how things gonna go, then you gotta understand that, you know what, you gotta be able to accept that truth. And if it's a little bit towards you, it's okay. You know, it don't make you a bad person. It just puts a light on you to say, you know what, I gotta do better. And he the type of person that's gonna lock in and do that. But the problem is some people don't want to hear that. So some people don't try to hear the different things he really trying to teach because of that.
That we are victims of our own foolishness.
I would have to say, yes, we are victims of our own foolishness, especially when you look at, I don't know if a lot of people know, but a lot of the key politicians that can make a change, I mean, man, let's be real. They all live over here on the west and on this west side of town. You know what I'm saying? And that's real talk.
So you saying they should get together?
No, if they get together, yeah, they can get together, but they're gonna have to have thick skin. They're gonna need somebody like Mr. Smallwood. They're gonna need somebody like myself, somebody like you, and then a few other people to really sit there with them and say, yo, what y'all been doing ain't been working. This is the thing that we got to do. And they need to be able to devise a plan based on what we say we think gonna work. Because quite obviously, if you've been doing it the same way, and like you said, the same thing over and over again, it's nothing but pure insanity that's running around.
You know, recently we've seen David Trone and Angela also Brooks tell us that they're running for U.S. Senate. Ben Cardin is stepping down. So those are the two Democrats that have stepped up. And quite frankly, I'm disappointed with both.
Gotcha.
I don't care how much money you got. I'm going to need to see more than that. I'm going to need to see some skin in the game. And I don't care what race you are at this juncture.
Yeah,
I'd like to vote. I'd like to vote for the black person, but at this juncture, I'm about running my business. And if you ain't talking black business, then I ain't really got no rap for you.
Absolutely.
We are supposed to support everybody else's stuff, but this is a 63% black city, a 73% black and brown city. And I asked you about the voting because we are expected to vote Democrat every time. But when I look at Coppin State, for instance, Coppin State has been able to expand since 2002, not because of Democrats, but because of Republicans. And so I'm asking everybody who comes on the show, why do I got to keep voting for Democrats who keep ignoring my community?
So that's the key thing right there, man. So when you think about the whole concept of, Democrats and Republicans, well, as a people, we started, black people way back. Like, we were the Republican at first. Then, of course, it switched over and then we all became Democrats. But I think a lot of people have the same view.
And I do not like Trump. For the record, I'd push his ass in the harbor in a New York second without remorse.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Because he's a despicable human being. Let's get that very clear.
I got you. I mean, but I'm about who's making it work. That's what I'm about. Who's putting the work in? And unfortunately, if you're a Democrat and you putting work in, and then somebody else is outworking you and getting results, then what can I do? What can I say? I can't say, well, I can rock with you. I gotta go and rock with this other person because this person is getting it done. So, but am I a Democrat? Yeah, man, I'm a Democrat. Am I hopeful that we can get it together as a party? Yeah, I'm hopeful we can get it together as a party. But the only way
I haven't seen it in my lifetime.
But and the only way we're gonna get it together as a party is when these people can put down, everybody can put down what they got and say, all right, where we at right now? What's the pulse on the community? Where we at? And then
so let me give it to you. In 2015, Freddie Gray happened.
Yes.
Pennsylvania North was the epicenter. That intersection was the epicenter of international media attention.
That's right.
What has happened on that corner since?
Nothing. Just police still sitting there in cars watching everything happen. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, if you asking me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm asking.
I mean, to be honest, man, ain't nothing changed right there. I mean, you would have thought that they would have came up with all kinds of beautiful things right there.
Remember Elijah Cummings? I mean, Elijah Cummings. He lived right around the corner.
Yeah, yes, he did.
That was the first time I seen him on that corner in a long time, if ever.
But that's the thing, man. I think a lot of people, they drive past these particular key points that you talk about, key points in the city. But I mean, but even if you even go back to North Avenue, man, you got to understand, Mr. Glover, a lot of these kids, a lot of these young people, a lot of these millennials, they don't even know what North Avenue really used to be like.
But you and I do.
Yeah, we do, but now I think that's where what you said, it comes into play. We got to find people that's willing to move the proper investments, the proper legislation that works into those areas and impact them. Because you ain't gonna impact that part of North Avenue with just one thing. You ain't gonna have one piece of legislation that's just gonna change it. No,
but that's so in the 2100 block of West North Avenue, a brother named Rashid Aziz, he built a factory for Made and Be More clothing, and in that same Emerge Center, Image. And then he also has frozen desert sorbet. They got $3 million from the Republicans, from Hogan. Boyd Rutherford made sure they got money. He started down at North and Edding on the other side of Penn North. Then he went down to Port Covington. Then he got that money and went up to North Avenue. Coppin got money. That is the only development between Coppin, Walbrook Mill, and the Emad Center. It took Republicans to put something on North Avenue, West North Avenue, just a few blocks from Penn North. And I'm saying, why in the hell do I keep voting for people, Democrats in particular, who keep ignoring my community? What the hell I need to support them for?
Hey, I'm just telling you right now, that's when it come down to us holding them accountable. You know, and when I say us, I mean in like the mainstream lines of people like yourself, the mainstream lines of people like myself. That's us literally holding them accountable, saying, yo, this is what we need right now.
This is an election year this year. May 14th, we're going to choose a mayor, a president, a U.S. senator.
You right about that.
So who we going to vote for? Who we going to tell the kids to vote for? Because these bums we've been voting for, I don't see what they've delivered.
Yeah, I got to
you up there in Joe Carter district, right?
Not really. I mean, right now we got our councilman is Christopher Burnett. We got Senator Carter up here, and then of course, you know, we got all the other people that follow behind her, you know, with the delegates and stuff.
Sandy Rosenberg, he's pretty impactful. As a matter of fact, that district goes all the way around. Damn, you put your head down.
Right.
Damn, it's like that.
It's like that, bro.
Then we need to let people know. And don't keep voting for somebody that make you feel it. Man, you ever go with a girl and make you feel like that? Oh my God. Time to cut her ass off. Click, click.
Man. I mean,
at some point you feel like that.
I mean, at some point in time, man, we all gotta just start to stand up for ourselves, man. And we gotta and don't get me wrong, man, when you stand up or when you speak out, some of these people can make it impactful on your business. And
we can make it impactful on their business. Damn it, they got houses, they got children, they got wives, they can be impacted too. I'm not living in fear.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we're not gonna roll that way. I mean,
when I think of David Smallwood, the hell with all of that. You done ran over our people. Let's run over their ass. Look at Emerson West Side. Look at Emerson West Side.
Yeah.
Look at their school. Their school has the potential of training bricklayers, carpenters, electricians.
Let's get it.
Now, the last I checked, they wanted to cut programs from Emerson West Side. Is that true?
Yeah. They wanted to cut programs. I believe.
Who allows that?
I mean, that has to do a lot with the state, man.
Them parents in Emerson Village can march over there on East North Avenue with Dr. Sandalise is and tell her, we don't want that. Leave our programs alone. See, them kids call us cowards, man.
Yeah. And then it's rightfully so. I mean, people walk around and ask, like, people got to understand something. They think these kids is just acting out for a reason. Man, these kids acting out for a reason because we failed them.
Have failed them.
That's why they acting out. They waking up every morning wondering why they walking past vacant homes. They waking up every morning wondering why mommy and daddy trying to struggle making some type of money to pay the bills. Yo, they pissed. And since they pissed, kids is acting out. And yeah, they kids. They don't know the right thing to say. They don't know some of the right things that probably should be they should be doing right. And all they want to do is take their energy and sprue it out on the street and say, you know what? Y'all need to see me for what I am because y'all gonna have to make a change because I ain't happy with the way things is going. And that's why the kids is pissed. No offense. I mean, you know.
It's the truth.
But nobody is understanding that. They're not understanding that the reason why the streets is the way it is and the reason why these kids are doing what they're doing because we have failed them. They doing what they're doing is because they can't just walk. the half of the kids all kids is good. But when you walk out into the street, man, and you don't have a community center to really go to chill at, you don't have a place where you can go to just like young successful leaders. I want young successful leaders to be on every side of the town, because when these kids come to us, we start teaching them about finance, we start teaching them about real estate, and we teaching them about leadership. Doni, we teach them about taxes. And then the kid told me the other day in class, on a Saturday morning, we talked about why the streets is messed up, why the infrastructure is messed up. And I said, well, your parents' taxes go towards that. And they said, well, hold on. If my parents' taxes go towards this, why the streets so messed up then? I said, man, you got a good point. I was just like, I said, y'all gonna have to be the ones to make that change, because we've been trying to make that change, but quite obviously we ain't got it right. So we need your help. That's where the Power 1718 come in. We need all of y'all to stand up right now, and we need y'all to tell these older people, yo, what y'all doing ain't right. It ain't work. It's impacting me, and we need to make this change now. That's the truth of it.
Mr. Diggs, how much time did you do in prison?
I ain't do no time in prison, man. I ain't been to jail.
Mr. Diggs, I haven't done any prison time.
Me neither.
But a lot of our young black men, all they know is older black men who have done time in prison. How do we reverse that mentality? For me, it's nothing like walking past the corner and the cat say to another cat, boy, you don't know nothing about bitten. No, I don't, and I don't want to.
Right.
Who the hell told you that was hip, you damn moron?
Hey, let me tell you something. I did something.
I ain't knocking, but I mean, I'm just saying, is that the best conversation that we can have as black men? Is that the best? Is that the best?
When it comes to you talking about black men and their manhood, unfortunately, the kids don't really know what a proper manhood looks like. What they know is the propaganda that's been created when they in prison, the propaganda that's been created when they in the community. That's what they know about what it is to be a man. So when another man like you, another man like myself sit in front of them and try to start mentoring to them, it's like you talking Spanish to them, man, because they don't get it. They really can't understand it, because what you saying don't fit the picture of what they have been seeing. It don't fit the picture of what has been told to them. So one of the things, like I did, for instance, I did it just to see to make a point. I rented one of the baddest cars that you can rent, Doni. I drove it down. It was about 50 guys on the corner.
Was that a Maserati?
Nah, for me, it was a Maybach.
The Maybach.
Yeah. So I rented it. And it ain't mine, but I pulled up on the corner. I got out. Some of the guys was like, oh, what's up, yo? You the community guy. What's up? And I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? I was like, hey, what y'all doing out here? They like, oh, what you doing? I'm like, man, I'm just living, man. So I put my laptop on top of the car. And I'm like, yo, do me a favor, man. All y'all out here right now. I said, I know y'all into the car and everything. And I said, I get all of that. I was just like, and they was like, yeah, well, how did you get it? And I'm like, I said, look, bro, I'm going to be honest. This is rented. I just pulled up because I'm trying to get your attention real quick. And they was like, what? And I'm like, this house right here. I was like, how many houses on this block? And they started counting the houses. And I said, well, all of these houses right here, how much are they? And they said, well, the houses is, it say like 190 and 200. And I said, great. I said, so all of these houses is at least over 180,000, right? And they like, yeah. I said, the house right here where y'all standing at, pulled it up. How much is that? He said, it's say 15. I said, yeah, because it's been burnt out. And they said, well, what you saying? I said, so if you put 90,000 into this, then you pay yourself a realtor and a mortgage broker, you probably gonna be all in at about 110, maybe 100 and maybe 120. I said, but all the houses on this block is worth 200. So you automatically have $80,000 in equity. And they was just like, well, what you mean we automatically got $80,000. I said, see, you missing the point. I said, because y'all standing in front of $80,000. I said, but y'all just want to stand out here and talk to each other, smoke, and whatever y'all doing, but you standing in front of $80,000. And they was like, huh? So after I finished breaking it down to them, and I said, so if it's about 40 of y'all out here right now, you can't tell me all of y'all can't come up with $15,000 to pay for this building right now?
Or can I say, this is my block, this is my hood,
Right.
and you don't have one deed.
Right. And I'm like, y'all can't come up with this? The other guy like, well, Mr. Things, I got 15 stacks at home. And I was just like, I said, son, that's my point. I said, you need to be the one to come out here and buy this house. I said, I kid you not, I ain't gonna fail you. I'm gonna walk you through the whole process until it's done, until you sell the house. And I said, when you sell the house, you get this 80 grand back. I said, when you get this money, what you gonna do with that? He was like, well,
invest it right back into the same project.
And I told him, I said, that's the point.
Not buy a Cadillac.
I said, now
whatever else.
And I told him, now we do it over. And I showed him how to do it 5 more times. And at the end of that portfolio, they had about $242,000 in their account in 12 months, Donnie. And they was like, yo, this ain't nobody ever break it down. I said, but besides this, when you get to the 7th house and you got 240 in your account, I said, then y'all just put your money in the IUL. And I was like, if you put your money in this IUL, then all of a sudden you want to borrow 150,000. You ain't borrowing it from the bank. You borrowing it from yourself.
And what is the IUL?
An Index Universal Life Insurance Fund. You know, and granted, you got to pay it back, of course. You know, but the thing about it is, when you go to the bank and borrow your money, you borrow 150,000 from the bank. They take that 150,000 out your account. You take 150,000 out of IUL. That 150,000 stays in your account because your life insurance is probably a $500,000 account. So if something happens to that money, it's already insured.
And who do we get an IUL from?
You just gotta go. You gotta find the proper broker for yourself to do that. So you would have to go to a life insurance agent, and then you gotta find the right one because they got various different IULs you can choose. So you just gotta find the right one. And the funny thing about it is, when you look at all of these banks, every last bank in the United States, all of their money is in an IUL account. They ain't got their money in no bank. An IUL is the Index Universal Life Insurance. The index is the stock market because it's always changing. You know, so that's where the investment comes in at on that part. Is it for everybody? No, it's not for everybody. But when you ask about, is it actually working? Yeah, that process does work because when you get your money in, the one thing you're going to do is, like I was telling the young guy, I said, man, you got to take your money. Once you start to stack it up, you got to put it into a Roth IRA, man. And I said, once you put it in there, just let it stay there.
What is the IRA? We like to break down these abbreviations.
It's just, I mean, it's just another. It's just, honestly, Donnie, it's just another account when it comes to them putting their money into it. And when they put their money into it, it just, it's a way that their money can double. And the thing about it is, this is the way all of these other communities have been operating, man, to be honest. And they've been using it for so long that I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You know, our community just don't know about financing like that. And that's when it comes to,
we gotta teach it. And we need it we need it in the schools.
Well, that's the key thing, man. We need a lot of things back in the schools. You started off the joint with prayer. And when you started off with prayer, I mean, that's the key to everything at the beginning of the day. You know, but that's been taken out of school. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't.
Yeah, we got people who can't raise their own children telling us how to raise our children. And black people got to wake up and start smelling the Maxwell House on that issue.
Man, I got kids right now that don't look like us. And by the time they 10 years old, these kids done got their own bank accounts. They done, when it comes to them to putting money in the bank, they write a check and put the money in the bank. Like how, like we not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I tell all of the black kids, I'm like, yo, and I tell all of the brown kids, don't be mad at these other kids because this what they being taught. You know, we got we got to teach this to our kids how to actually go and put money in the bank. And no, I ain't telling you that the bank is the end all answer to everything. Nope. But it's another resource that we can use to help us run our lives.
What bank do you deal with?
I actually, well, I got a M&T, and then I got one with Truist, and then we got another one, downtown.
So we have to start having more conversations about banks and what banks are good for Baltimore, what banks are good for Black Baltimore, what
Absolutely.
banks are good for us. Because if they ain't no damn good, what's the point?
Well, and then that's going to be now that you say that something like that, that's going to be us really having to get with the state and our state leaders and saying, look, we don't have these particular banks in our community, and we need them to have to come here, or we just need to start building up more community banks. So some of these companies don't really have good community programs, so the communities can benefit from.
Yeah, they don't. So what else would you like to share with our audience today, Mr. Diggs?
Man, I just for me, it's just about talking about young successful leaders, INC, man, and telling people to start to go to youngsuccessfulleadersinc.com. Man, they can go there to start to learn about all of the stuff that we're doing with the kids and the youth. And when we do that, they can actually really start to impact people's lives. I mean, we're looking for volunteers to come out and volunteers to help. We're looking for people that's in finance, people that's in business. We're trying to get them to, talk to our kids and impact them. Like you said earlier, I mean, sometimes the kids just don't know. They don't know that having a business, you can actually, I mean, truthfully, the entrepreneur is the new rock star, man.
Is this the website right here?
Yes, sir. youngsuccessfulleadersinc.com. They can go to Young Successful Leaders INC. They can start to learn about all of the stuff we doing. And then we do got a fundraiser coming up in September, actually. And then we'll be doing things all throughout the summer. We work with people like Mr. Smallwood, like you said earlier. And we just try to impact them, man. And we trying to impact the community. If you in business and you really trying to grow your business, learn more about financing, learn about standard operating platform to have your business on, they can go to harolddiggs.com for that. And you can go right to harolddiggs.com, HAROLDDIGGS.com, and you can lock in with me. All you got to do is click the thing, book on it. Man, I'm loving to get with these young businesses out here and try to lead them in the right direction on how they can actually be successful, Don.
What's been the biggest challenge in getting with these young leaders?
The biggest challenge I have with a lot of small businesses is their platform, man. They open it up, they running, but they not really running the right way. Like they don't have a proper business plan and they ain't following it. And like I said, when I say business plan, people are like, oh man, I ain't got time for that. Well, the truth of the matter is if you're doing something and you ain't made no money in 3 months, you need to review your business plan to figure out what you're doing that's not working. Because quite obviously something not working right. But then they don't have a SOP, a standard operating platform, which means they don't have the right processes in place to make the business work. So they're not really doing that right. And that all comes down to, having the right processes, having the right marketing set for them. And they don't really have that because the marketing has moved into a segmentation market now. So everything is just like individual. And that's how you get your business start to working right. But they don't have these things in place, man. They don't have the right data collection, Doni. And when they don't have the right data collection, they asking people for money. But how you gonna ask people for money, but you can't give them the results on what you've done? You can't show them a proper outcome because you don't have the proper income, the proper input when you put the input in, and you don't have the proper action to your input. So if you don't have a proper action, you don't have a proper input, you just don't have a quality outcome that you can show somebody on what you've done. And they don't have these things in place. And that's why our businesses are opening and closing. And that's why our businesses are not being successful. And that's what the young people right now are struggling with when they open up, these new companies.
The biggest challenge is the fact that we support everybody else's business, but we won't support our own. You can tell somebody, I can say, Mr. Diggs, I just got a brand new job. And you be like, yay, give me all kinds of likes. But I tell you, Mr. Diggs, I just started a business and it's like crickets.
Right. Ain't nobody putting nothing into what you got.
Well, you got people on the sideline say, hey, Donnie, great job. Hey, great job. But when you say, hey, I need you to sponsor this show for 6 months for $2,000,
right?
And it's crickets.
No, you're right. I mean, our biggest thing is
like, did you go over there? Did you go over there and ask them people? No, why don't you ask them? Why we or like a tragedy happened in Belgium, and then black people changing their profile picture. I stand with Belgium.
Right.
Not knowing that King Leopold of Belgium cut all them black people hands off, but we support everybody else's stuff,
right?
But we don't support our own.
But that's why I said it goes back to what
even down to the damn Catholic Church, which is manufactured a shipload of pedophiles in our own community.
Absolutely.
We support everybody else. Don't talk about them. You can't talk about the Democrats. You can't talk about the Catholics. You can't say nothing about Israel. But look at my damn community. You want me to send money to Ukraine when I'm looking at North Avenue.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, for me, that's where we have to start with, though. We got to start.
We and everybody else's stuff, but we won't even go to a PTA meeting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, going back and forth to different schools, I tell people all the time, I'm like, parents say, well, I need this and I need that. I was like, well, are you on the PTA? And they like, what? And I'm like, have you been to your school?
We know all of the players on the Ravens. We know the newest TikTok dance, even the one where you're kicking your foot.
Right.
But we don't know our kids' teacher's name. We don't know the principal's name. We don't know our state senator's name.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right about that.
We don't know who our congressperson is.
No, I get you. I just had a class. If you look up on, if they go to
who does that, brother?
We do. We allow that. We allow, and it ain't just me and you. You know what I'm saying? We doing what we got to do, but we need more people, like you said earlier. Now, how can we get more people like us to start to impact the community?
We have a happy hour with some fried chicken, some watermelon, and some music. I mean, that's what they do when they want to get us together. Give them some music, give them some fried chicken, give them some watermelon. Oh, and if you could throw some free drinks in there, then we'll get everybody to come out.
They show up too, don't they, for that, Doni?
Yeah, we do a TikTok dance.
So is that what we gotta do, Doni? We gotta put it.
That's a really sad scenario.
It is, man. It really is, brother. And it for us, and that's the thing. Like, I think people starting to see that, hey, we need to have a change. But I also think that the young people, when I say young people, I'm talking about the ones between like 25 and 45. I think they scared to make that change. They scared to stand up and be one of the key components. So it's really going to take people like, myself and yourself to really come out there and start dragging them in, saying, look, I need y'all 5 to come with me. And that's where I think I might have mentioned to you about the network and social I was talking about, really just starting to get like a good 10 to 20 young people together at a time, just saying, look, I need y'all to come with me. And so we can have a good night of talk and a good night of celebration. And what we going to talk about? Well, don't worry about it. When we get there, you'll find out. And we need to really lock into them and really start doing these more often. And like I said, only getting like 10 to 20 or 30 of them in there and just really locking in with them and building them up. And if I can do that once a weekend, 4 weeks out of a year, 4 weeks out of a month, that's me getting about 120 new young Black entrepreneurs, brown or Black, this really trying to impact them and teaching them. You know, that's one way that I'd like to see a shift start to happen.
Any final thoughts, Mr. Diggs?
No, the final thoughts is, we got to make sure we start to impact these kids, man, because these kids are our future. These kids, when we turn 80 years old, they're going to be the ones making the decisions. So we need to be able to empower them and get them ready. One of the ways we can get these kids ready, man, to be honest, is just the Young Successful Leaders, inc.com, man. If I can get more young leaders to start coming here. And the one thing that they don't know, Donnie, is that when they go through our program, if they ended up and they do like one of their business pitches and it becomes good, we pay for their business license, man. And we help them get everything started. We pay for their business license. We'll pay for a foot peddler's license. We'll pay for all of that for the kids to get them going, man. So we're not going to leave them out there. And people need to understand that if we invest into the kids the right way, the kids will invest back into us. Our motto is we build youth who build youth. If we build the youth up, the youth going to build other people up. That's just what we do.
Good deal. Thank you for joining us today. Do pick up a
Sir,
copy.
Thank you for having me.
Of Unapologetically Black and I Am Black Wall Street, both available on Barnes & Noble and on Amazon. My name is Donnie Glover. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Good morning, world. And thank you, Mr. Diggs.
Thank you for having me, sir.